having a fantastic morning wherever you are, whether that is driving into work or you're waking up with the kids, putting on a pot of coffee, just trying to check out and see what's going on here in our little neck of the woods, Forsyth County. I'm so glad that you're with me this morning. Again, I'm your host, David Hill. If you are new to the show, welcome. We talk about things that are happening within Forsyth County, kind of news, events, this sort of thing. And today is a special episode. This is episode 2 of our year in review for 2024. If you did not get a chance to listen to the first episode, you can do that. It is 2 episodes back. And in that previous episode, we covered what was kind of going on within different parts of the county. And that would include City of Winston-Salem, Forsyth County, Rural Hall. There's another one in there. Kernersville as well. Yep. And you may notice from the title of this episode that I'm keeping out one specific municipality. I have a good reason for that, and that's because I have a surprise to announce a little bit later on in the episode. But we're going to get into kind of what happened within a couple of municipalities, the ones that we did not cover last time. That would be Clemmons, Walkertown, Bethania, and Tobaccoville. And then Lewisville, where I'm from, we're going to be covering that at a later time as well. But we are wrapping up the year. We're getting into the holiday season, just a couple of days away. I hope everybody got a chance to get everything that they need well in advance, because my wife told me that if you go anywhere near Haynes Mall Boulevard right now, it is an absolute mess. And I wouldn't send my worst enemy out that way. So busy, so congested, so many people scrambling to get those last minute gifts at Walmart or Target or Target, as some might call it. And as we are kind of jumping into the episode, I do want to have kind of a little special announcement. We have a sponsor for this week's episode. And this week's episode is sponsored by Santa Claus. That's right. Y'all have heard of him, but did you know Santa Claus works 365 days out of the year? Santa Claus is the one, the true, the only jolly old man in a red suit and flying reindeer that is going to show up at everybody's chimney for all those good little boys on Christmas morning. And he wanted me to tell y'all to please make sure to not have fires running, to bake cookies that are not gluten-free. He wanted me to tell y'all he is not gluten-free. He does not like fruitcake. I know it was kind of a shock to me as well. And he says his reindeers are lactose intolerant, so please be mindful of that if you're putting anything out for him or them to drink. And also, make sure your kids are asleep before 8:30 p.m. If you can do that, that would be great. The elves and all of the people up at the North Pole are working very, very hard to make this a very special Christmas. And he just wanted me to tell you those couple of things. So a little bit of a reminder. And thank you again for sponsoring this week's episode, Santa. I really do appreciate it. My daughter, who is 2 years old, y'all know I talk about her all the time. Well, she's almost 2 years old. She will be next month. She's very excited for Santa, or Sen, as she calls him. Sen is coming. She's learning. The words are coming. The words are coming. So, without further ado, let's jump into the episode. I want to talk about kind of how I learned a couple of these things. As y'all know, this is a new venture for me, and so I'm not a seasoned journalist by any stretch of the imagination. I am just a guy, a citizen that lives here in Forsyth County, wants the county to go in the best way possible. I want our leaders to make great decisions, and I want all the citizens here in Forsyth County to be educated on what's going on. And so I felt it was a good idea to maybe do a recap, kind of level set with everybody, what's going on in the area, what has happened kind of in 2024. If you're looking back and finding this at a later date, this might be helpful to know if you're trying to kind of get caught up to speed as well. So I went around and I visited these jurisdictions. I keep on saying that. I think the proper term is municipalities. So I'm going to do my best to kind of sway over to municipalities instead of jurisdictions. Y'all can bear with me with that. But I went over and visited Tobaccoville, Bethania, Walkertown, and been to Clemmons many times. Very familiar with that area since I live here in Lewisville. And I got a chance to meet some of the folks that are working in those areas. And I got to say, the people that work for your towns, your villages, cities, this kind of thing, they're very nice people. A lot of these folks are, kind of their second career, or, they might be semi-retired, that kind of thing. And it's really a labor of love. They love their community, they love the area as well. And I just want to say thank you to all the folks that I got a chance to meet. I went out and traveled with my daughter, and so she got to kind of be on the move with me, got a chance to meet some people, and everybody was extremely nice. I just want to say thank you right off the bat for that. Some a little bit more helpful than others. Y'all know who you are. But I'm going to get into it today with, let's say Tobaccoville. Tobaccoville, actually just kind of like right down the street from us, just kind of drive on the back roads, get to Tobaccoville. If you haven't been out that way, it's really beautiful. And we had I believe WXII did a little piece. You can find it on their YouTube channel. Just kind of talking about the history of the town and everything like that. Meeting with the town manager. And it was very cool, very helpful. And for those of y'all that live in Tobaccoville, y'all got a good place over there. I love the vibe. I love the kind of like the rural farm areas, nice quiet roads, all that stuff. 2024 was not a big year, but it was pretty substantial. A lot of pretty big things happened. We did unfortunately have an unfortunate event, and I don't want to get into, crimes and all that kind of stuff because there's so much negativity. There's so much bad news out there that that's not the place for this. If you want that, bad news spreads really easily online. I'm sure you can find it, but there was a fire. I'm just kind of mentioning this because it was a historical church. It was like 130 years old. And they had a fire. It was at New Bethel Church down there in Tobaccoville. And unfortunately, it did burn up, but it's a historic place in Tobaccoville. I'm not sure how the reconstruction is going, but that was a pretty major event that happened. And I didn't read that anybody was injured or anything like that, so that is very, very good. I'm very glad to hear that. Anybody knows or wants to post an update about kind of what's going on with the church now, if they're in the middle of the rebuilding process, please jump on the Facebook group. And really anybody listening, if you're not already in the Facebook group, we're growing at a very quick rate. And I appreciate everybody jumping on and sharing information and having discussions over there. It is Our NC Radio, Forsyth County. You can jump on Facebook. And also, you can find me on X, Our NC Radio on X. I'm going to post there a little bit more frequently, but if you are a user of X and you want to kind of find me over there, might be able to have a little bit more personal discussion there as well. But really, wherever you are, my goal is to have Our NC Radio present there as well. So thank you for that. So the Tobaccoville church fire, that is an unfortunate event. There was some big positive events, though, as well in Tobaccoville. Other than that feature that WXII did, there was the Village Park in Tobaccoville. It's right across from the town hall. They opened up their stage. They had a nice big event. during the summer and had some food trucks out there and all that. And that's probably the best place to go, recreationally within Tobaccoville. And so they opened up a new piece of the park, and that's always nice to see. Parks are fantastic additions to really any community. They are kind of like the hub if you want to go stretch your legs a little bit, walk your dog, run into some people, maybe have a party, play some sports or games. And anytime I see one of our beloved municipalities improving the lives of their citizens by offering something like this, it's a fantastic thing to say, and it's always worth a mention. But they had an opening for that new section of the park this year, and so congrats to the folks over there in Tobaccoville. Seems like you got a really nice one over there. And in that same vein, they actually broke ground on Tobaccoville Agricultural Park, which is also fantastic. Kind of goes with the vibe of Tobaccoville being a little bit more rural area. But Tobaccoville Agricultural Park, that's going to be, they're going to have the state and North Carolina State Extension. If you're not familiar with that, that is a fantastic resource for anybody that's looking to get into gardening, farming, or just wants to kind of brush up on how to better care for the land that you may have. They do soil tests, and this is probably the best time to do it. Soil tests for folks that are looking to maybe grow some crops in some parts of their property. You do that through the extension office, and it's a fantastic resource. They have a lot of good stuff. They have educational opportunities there as well. But the agricultural park in Tobaccoville is going to be open to the public. It is going to be mainly for recreational use, for the town, and also offer some additional like walking trails, that sort of thing. But farming resources, that's, since it's very fitting to the area, I think that's going to be a fantastic addition to the community. I wish more communities would focus on, horticulture, agriculture. The one thing about North Carolina, I know this is a little bit off topic, but I moved here from Southern California about 10 years ago, and I love North Carolina. I love the East Coast just in general because you get the seasons. It's beautiful. You have all these nice lush green trees, or super brown trees right now because this is kind of the winter time. But it's so gorgeous to get through a winter and have these really gorgeous flowering crepe myrtles and all these trees, and the birds and everything are out here, and we've got to preserve that. We got to preserve the natural beauty of North Carolina, and that it goes to, yes, you don't want to overdevelop, and you don't want to just kind of bulldoze down everything and kind of build houses and apartments on it. But also, for those of y'all that already have your houses or you have properties that you take care of, consider kind of the world around you, and consider what you plant, how you care for that property. Think about maybe how it fits within the local ecosystem where that property is located. And there's different things that the extension kind of puts out every year that kind of helps guide those principles and those suggestions for folks. Avoiding invasive plants, that kind of thing. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, definitely go to the extension office. There's one in Winston. Go check it out, because there's a lot of resources out there. And I just want to say, a lot of us can kind of take that mission on regardless of where we live, in our community. So, and I'll get off my soapbox there. All right, I'm going to move on to Bethania. Bethania is another really nice small house. I mean, it's a small community. I think it's like under 200 homes, something like that within Bethania, but it's a very historic area. If you haven't been down there, Bethania has this wonderful old buildings and walking trail that goes through that historic section of the town village. I don't remember, but Bethania is such a nice place. And for those of you that live there, y'all know not a lot of stuff that happens in Bethania, but y'all did get a new bridge this past year. So I did want to mention that. That's definitely a major, bonus. It's a costly thing. I think it was over like $30,000 or something like that. Probably the biggest impact is going to be kind of launching early next year, but I'm going to sneak it into 2024. And that is their brand new website. Anytime you have a small town that kind of still puts meeting notes and stuff on their outside of their facility instead of online, getting a new website is obviously going to be super helpful, just to kind of keep people informed and have some more information accessible to folks that are interested in maybe moving there or interested in kind of what's going on there. So Bethania getting a brand new website is pretty big. The new bridge, which I just mentioned, and then one thing that is potentially going to be impacting the town, and this we may be getting into this for next year, depending, is there's county-owned property that's like borders Bethania, and there's a very large development that looks like it could be going in there. And when I say it's borders Bethania, I'm not saying it's like on the outskirts. It's pretty much like right across the street from like where their town hall is. Like there's the street the town hall is on, like it's just a little bit further down, and it's like right across the way. So that could be pretty impactful for the community. They don't have a lot of, they don't have really wide roads. They don't even really have like, traffic signals. It's like stop signs and stuff. So having, hundreds of houses go in fairly close by, it could definitely impact traffic. So that's something to be mindful of. If you didn't know that and you live near there or you live in Bethania, definitely go talk to your representation about that. And also the county commissioners, because that's, I believe it's county property that they're looking to rezone for houses. But that is definitely something to be on the keep on your eye. And then we have Walkertown. And before I move on to Walkertown, Bethania, I may actually be able to get in touch with the mayor of Bethania. I was told that he would be very eager to speak with us and come on the podcast and maybe talk about Bethania. So look for that. I'm hoping to maybe set that up in a future episode before too long. And then getting over to Walkertown, I spent a lot of time over in Walkertown while I was out, and got a chance to meet with the town clerk. Super helpful guy. Rusty, I think was his name. Very fitting for Walkertown, but retired, I believe, a school teacher or math teacher, something like that. Decided to work for the town. Friends with the mayor, friends with the town manager, and super helpful. Their administrative buildings left a lot to be desired, and that's not a knock. I actually think that's kind of a good thing, because they're a very frugal governing body. They don't put a lot of money into their personal facilities, which means that they can probably maintain a very low tax rate, make it very affordable to live there, and you don't have folks that maybe are struggling financially, driving by a big $1 million, looking glorious town hall. It maybe wouldn't be fitting with the area. Not to say the area looks a certain way, but it's a diverse community, and it's a community that kind of prides itself on being frugal and responsible, and that's just kind of the way they like it. And hats off to them. You got what you need to get the job done. You get the job done, and then you don't overspend. I kind of like that. So hats off to Walkertown for that. The one big thing for this year is they were able to finish up their new meeting building. And this kind of goes back to what I was just saying. They've met all the way up until this year, met in a home that was like lent out to the town. So if you wanted to go to a meeting, you would go into a home that's located right across from like the administrative building. And you would go, and it would only fit 20 people. So like they wouldn't even be able to have meetings that a lot of people were interested in unless they went to like the library. So it's been long overdue. They finally got a new meeting building. I went over there. It's very modest, but they could fit, probably 50 to 100 people in there now. Very simple, one level construction, not a huge thing. There's no big statues or fountains or a big hoopla. It's just a basic building, basic parking lot, but a little bit more up to date now. So hats off to Walkertown for being that way. They're definitely looking forward to improvements coming to 158. More on that and other major transportation projects later. But there is definitely some, transportation projects that may impact these areas. But I will talk about those probably next year, because there's next year is probably going to have more progress in that front. Not to say there isn't some progress now, there definitely is, but more progress is definitely in the works and is coming soon. All right, so lastly, and this will be a little bit of a shorter episode, just because I'm gearing up for a special episode that I'm doing starting tomorrow, and we'll be hearing about that next week, but I'll mention it before the end of the episode, kind of what to look forward to. But I'm going to jump into Clemmons, and we'll talk about Clemmons a little bit. Clemmons, God bless them. It's an area that is, for somebody that lives in Lewisville, it's an area that's wildly different from Lewisville. Very pro business, pro big business. A lot of, mixes of small locally owned businesses, and then businesses that have, many different footprints. This is kind of like fast food alley. You got Jonestown Road. You got, Lewisville Clemmons Road, where you got the, Chick-fil-A, Dario. Just name a fast food joint, it's probably on there. It's just very different from other parts of Forsyth County, but people like that. People like having choices. People like, the fact that they're able to make a lot more in tax revenue and that sort of thing. But I wanted to mention that because there's a building coming up right now that's kind of causing a lot of controversy, and that's a storage facility that is right on the corner of Lewisville Clemmons Road and 150, and it's right in that same parking lot with Walmart Neighborhood Market across from CVS or Walgreens. Could be Walgreens. I think it's Walgreens, and Starbucks right there. It looks to be a pretty big building, probably 2-3 stories tall. Big old box right in the corner. A lot of people think it may impact visibility, but I looked on the Clemmons website, and there's really nothing as far as rezoning that's happened for that specific property anytime soon. And it was a bank prior. So what I'm thinking is that it's already zoned for commercial use. The storage facilities meet commercial use, so there's really no need to rezone it. And if it fits the needs and it's already been approved for that type of use, there's nothing to stop them from building there. So if you want certain ordinances about, the height of a building being a certain way, or a certain height, or if you want that specific area not to have that kind of thing, then it needs to be addressed with your town council. In the Village of Clemmons, I haven't seen anything about it. So if there is something that's going on that people are fighting it or anything like that, or if there was kind of an uproar, I haven't seen anything about it. So please let me know. As far as big things in 2024, there's really, not a lot I could find as far as news-related type stuff. I know there's a lot of folks there, so there's definitely some crime, crashes. Unfortunately, there was a fatal crash just last week. Folks in line for Festival of Lights, and a car hitting, a bunch of other cars who were stopped trying to get off the exit. That is unfortunate, but I don't want to kind of weigh down the whole episode with that. Even though it is a tragedy, it's certainly, crime happens every day. Unfortunately, there's a lot of terrible stuff that we could talk about that has happened, and as far as news-related type stuff, crimes and deaths and all that kind of thing. But I want this to be more of a positive, discussion amongst us. And, in that vein, I think Clemmons has done, a good job of being a steward of the area and the land that they have. Definitely pro-business. My father-in-law lives right out there, and one of our best friends lives right out there as well. And the folks that live out there, they like it that way. They like having those choices. They like being able to, kind of feel like they can go out to eat, go grab a bite, or go shopping a little bit and not having to drive all the way to downtown. So I think you need a diverse mix, and Clemmons definitely represents that. And so it's very positive, and I appreciate everything they do. If you live out in Clemmons and there's anything that you feel like is, a major noteworthy item that was passed within the budget or agenda or anything like that, please let me know. They are certainly working to do some things as far as transportation, making things more accessible, all that kind of stuff. But those studies are still ongoing. And so major news and stuff, I'm going to be talking about it when things actually happen and those decisions are made. Some people say no news is good news, and I'm kind of on that light as well. So thank you so much. Before we end today's episode, I'm going to go ahead and mention I'm going to be having an interview, a long-form sit-down interview with Mayor Mike Horn of Lewisville, North Carolina. So definitely tune into that next week. I'm going to meet with him. Podcast launches Monday the 23rd, so I'm going to be meeting with him this afternoon. I'm really excited for that. I have met Mayor Horn several times. Very nice guy, but he's been in politics in Forsyth County for a long time. Been the mayor for over 10 years, very long time. Been on the council for even longer, so he knows kind of the pulse of Lewisville. And we're going to talk about Lewisville in 2024. I'm going to talk about his legacy a little bit. I'm going to talk about all the things that you all may be interested in for Lewisville citizens. And so I am excited to get a chance to do that. Sit down with him today, and I will bring you that episode next week, a really great finale to kind of cap off the year. It will be the last episode of 2024, I believe, or maybe the first of 25. Who knows? But I appreciate everybody. Appreciate you all tuning in. Thank you again to Santa Claus for sponsoring today's episode. And I hope you have a fantastic Christmas, happy holidays, and a happy new year if I don't talk to you before then. Bye-bye.